Ever wondered how an AI actually predicts a football match? I mean, what's really going on inside that black box? Well, today we're going to pop the hood and see exactly how a machine takes a bunch of raw data and spits out a final scoreline.
How do you predict the unpredictable? That's the million-dollar question in sports, right? To get our heads around it, we're going to zoom in on a real-world case study, a mid-table League One clash between Exeter City and Reading. We're going to follow along as a powerful AI model, we'll just call it SPECTRA, does its thing from start to finish.
Okay, so here's our game plan for this breakdown. First, we'll set the scene. Then, we'll look at the basic stats anyone can find. After that, we'll dive deep inside the AI's brain, watch it simulate the match thousands of times, get its final call, and then talk about what it all means beyond just the score.
All right, let's set the scene. We're heading to St. James Park for a match on October 11th, 2025. This is a classic mid-table clash. You've got Exeter City and Reading, two teams that are just hungry. They're both desperate for a win to get their seasons back on track. So, yeah, the stakes are pretty high.
So, before we unleash the super complex algorithms, let's start where any of us would. We're talking about this simple stuff, the data that you or I could look up. This is the foundation, right? It's where the AI begins its whole process.
And right away, one word comes to mind: inconsistency. I mean, look at Exeter's recent form. Win, lose, lose. It is a total roller coaster. And then you have Reading, who are really in a bit of a slump. They haven't won in their last 5, and they just seem to be struggling to see games out.
Now, if you just glanced at their head-to-head record, you'd think this was a slam dunk for Reading. They've pretty much dominated this fixture, outscoring Exeter 15-5 in their last 5 meetings. But, and this is a big but, a lot of that history is from before Exeter rebuilt their squad, so that old data might be a little misleading. This matchup is probably way closer than those numbers suggest.
Okay, so we've covered the basics. Now let's peel back the next layer. We're going inside the AI's brain, the SPECTRA model stack. This is where things get really interesting, because this is where the machine starts looking for patterns that we humans would probably miss.
So the AI doesn't just use one method, it stacks them. Think of it like building blocks. It starts with a simple skill rating system, ELO. Then it adds a statistical model for predicting goals, a Poisson model. Then it layers on even more advanced stuff like XGBoost, and at the very top, a full-blown neural network to find those really deep, hidden connections.
You might be wondering, what's an ELO rating? Well, it's basically just a power ranking system. The higher the number, the stronger the team is perceived to be. And in this matchup, Reading's got a slight edge, about 1505 to Exeter's 1490. Not a huge gap, but it's there.
But this is where it gets really cool. The different parts of the AI's brain don't all agree. It's like an internal debate is happening. The basic goal expectancy model says, they're pretty much level. The more advanced machine learning models, they're leaning towards Reading, probably because of their ability to create chances. But then the neural net, the most complex layer, chimes in and says, hold on, don't forget about Exeter's home field advantage. It's this disagreement that makes the whole thing so powerful.
So you've got all these conflicting signals. How does the AI come up with a single answer? Well, the short answer is, it doesn't. Instead, it does something way smarter. It simulates the match a lot, and this is how it gets to its final prediction.
And when I say a lot, I mean it. The model plays out the full 90 minutes of this match 10,000 times. Just imagine that. It creates this huge universe of possible futures for this one single game.
This whole process has a name. It's a Monte Carlo simulation. The easiest way to think about it is that the AI is basically playing the game on a computer 10,000 times. It uses all the data and probabilities we've talked about to see what happens, and then it just counts which results happen most often. Pretty neat, huh?
So, after running those thousands upon thousands of games, what did the computer find? Well, an away win for Reading came out on top. It happened in about 45% of the simulations. A draw was next at 33%, leaving a home win for Exeter as the least likely outcome at just 22%.
And if we dig a little deeper into those simulations, we can see the most common scorelines. A 1-1 draw and a 2-1 win for Reading were the two that popped up most frequently. The model also thinks it's going to be a pretty open game with a median of almost 3 goals, and yeah, it's highly likely that both teams are going to score.
Okay, so we've looked at the basic stats, we've eavesdropped on the AI's internal debate, and we've seen the results from 10,000 simulated futures. It's time to bring it all together for the data's final call. Now, before I reveal SPECTRA's final prediction, it's kind of cool to see that we're not alone here. Other independent prediction models out there are seeing pretty much the same thing.
The general consensus is that this is going to be a super tight game, probably a draw or a slim away win, and almost everyone expects both teams to score.
All right, drumroll please. After weighing all the evidence, all the models, all the simulations, the SPECTRA AI's final consensus prediction is Reading 2, Exeter City 1.
But, and this is important, check out the confidence level. It's only moderate, around 55%. What does that tell us? It means that while Reading are the marginal favorites, this is in no way a lock. It's far from a guaranteed outcome. There's a very real chance it goes another way, which just shows you how tight this matchup really is.
So there you have it, the AI's prediction. But you know, numbers are only one part of the story. The game is played by people, not algorithms. So let's look beyond the scoreline and talk about the tactics. The human element that could make this prediction look genius or completely wrong.
You can almost picture how this will play out tactically. For Exeter, their success is probably going to hinge on using the width of the pitch, getting crosses in, and being clinical on set pieces. Reading, on the other hand, they'll be looking to hit on the break. They'll want a fast-paced, open game where their speed can really punish any space left behind.
And of course, we have to say this is all for fun, for informational and entertainment purposes. It is absolutely not betting advice. An AI prediction is just a statistical probability. It is not a guarantee. The ball is round, and anything can happen.
Which brings us to a really fascinating question to end on. As these AI models get smarter and smarter, where does that leave the magic of the game? Does it ruin the surprise? Or does it actually make those jaw-dropping, unpredictable moments, the ones that defy all the data, feel even more special? It's something to chew on, for sure.